In January 2026, Cloudflare acquired a framework called Astro. While it may have seemed like a routine corporate acquisition, it signaled a targeted shift in how the internet's largest traffic router views the future of web delivery. Cloudflare handles a significant portion of all global internet traffic. When they commit resources to a specific framework, they're indicating where the industry's infrastructure is moving. Astro is centered on a static plus edge model. Instead of waiting for a user to request a page, it pre-builds content and stores it on servers as close to the end user as physically possible. This acquisition suggests that the static edge architecture is no longer an experimental niche. It has moved into a primary role for the companies that control the flow of data across the globe. This model sits in direct opposition to the standard practice of the last 2 decades. Most of the web still runs on traditional CMS platforms like WordPress, which rely on dynamic rendering. In a dynamic setup, the server builds every page on the fly. Each request triggers database queries and processing cycles, creating structural delay. Developers fight this by piling on complex caching layers, but these are temporary fixes for an architecture not designed for instant delivery. Nimbica adopted a different approach by moving away from the dynamic server model entirely. They built their platform to bridge the gap between WordPress and the static edge, aiming to eliminate rendering lag at the source. This bet was based on the observation that truly solving web performance requires moving content off the central server and onto the global network edge. The data from sites using this architecture provides a forensic look at why the static edge model is becoming the preferred choice for high-performance networks. This page speed report shows a site running on Nimbica's infrastructure. It achieves a 100 performance score, the maximum rating for desktop. The first contentful paint is just 0.6 seconds, meaning visual elements appear almost immediately. Mobile environments are more restrictive, often highlighting the bloat in traditional sites. On the same architecture, the mobile score remains high at 97. The total blocking time is just 20 milliseconds, indicating the page is fully interactive with virtually no delay. Third-party validation from GT Metrics shows consistent results, with an A grade and a 99% performance rating. The largest contentful paint, the time for main content to load, is only 674 milliseconds. While it is possible to optimize a traditional dynamic site, reaching these sub-second milestones consistently typically requires a bespoke engineering effort that is out of reach for most standard installations. The ability to deliver this level of performance reliably is the specific reason large-scale infrastructure providers are moving toward the Astro framework. The challenge for most users is how to access this enterprise-level infrastructure without needing a team of specialized developers to rebuild their entire site. The solution is a platform that automates the distribution. It takes the content from a standard site, converts it into a static format, and pushes it out to the global edge server network instantly. This process doesn't require new code. It simply connects the existing backend to an optimized network layer. In the Nimbica dashboard, this connection starts with a secure API key, creating a direct link between the site and the edge infrastructure. That key is then used within the WordPress environment. This keeps the management interface the same while shifting the actual delivery of the site to the high-speed turbo mode. This setup bridges the technical gap, allowing any site to utilize a sophisticated network architecture through a standard plugin installation. The industry's move towards static edge delivery suggests that the era of relying solely on dynamic server rendering is nearing its end. This architecture has graduated from an experimental alternative to a core standard, supported by the internet's largest traffic handlers. In this new environment, platforms like Nimbica are no longer just optional speed tools. They serve as the necessary link for existing websites to meet the increasing performance requirements of the modern web. As global networks continue to prioritize content delivered at the edge, sites that remain tethered to traditional dynamic processing will face growing disadvantages in SEO and user engagement. Continuing to use a purely dynamic model means you are relying on a server architecture that the network infrastructure itself is beginning to phase out.